happens when the thing threatening to take away your identity isn't a grave robber or a corrupt institution, but a silent, invisible algorithm. Lately, there is an underlying sense of dread creeping through the modern workplace. It's a quiet paranoia that no matter how hard you work, how creative you are, or how many years you're dedicated to your craft, artificial intelligence is waiting to replace you. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on AI anxiety and we're looking at the psychology of collective panic, how the system feeds on your insecurity, and exactly how to protect your mind when the future feels completely unpredictable. Every single day, our feeds are flooded with headlines about tech companies implementing massive layoffs, all while rolling out new AI models that promise to do our jobs faster, cheaper, and without ever getting tired. It has created a massive psychological crisis. I mean, a lot of tech leaders and corporate executives like to hop on the news and tell you that everything's fine, everything's going to be okay. They tell you that AI is just a harmless tool meant to help you, not replace you. But I can personally confirm that there is real truth to the statement that massive structural job displacement is actively being planned behind closed doors. I can confirm your thoughts are true, but because I have signed two NDAs, I legally cannot say more than that. But just let that sink in for a second. The treatment of employees, disrupting people's entire lives and their families' lives as well, creating tech that will do your job for much cheaper. Since this is inevitable at this point, let's prep for it because we are facing a tangible shift. Our brains are reacting exactly the way they were evolved to react under threat. Clinicians who work with professionals on the front lines of this tech shift have identified a very specific psychological phenomenon known as job replacement anxiety, or JRA. Looks like Jira, I know, scary, but JRA isn't just standard work stress or ordinary burnout. It's what psychologists call an identity disruption. For centuries, human beings have derived their self worth, their purpose, and their internal ego from what they do. And I'm speaking from the heart here because I value my self worth a lot based on work. And so when a machine threatens to automate your skills, your brain doesn't just fear losing a paycheck, it experiences an existential crisis because it almost feels like your personal value is being completely erased. This fear triggers a state of chronic hypervigilance. You might find yourself overworking to prove your worth, compulsively checking tech news, or feeling constantly tense and on edge. Your brain is desperately treating a software update like a physical predator lurking in the bushes. Speaking from experience here. So, knowing that the threat is real, but realizing that panic paralyzes us, how do we psychologically deal with these heavy emotions? How do we stop the paranoia from severely affecting our mental health and our confidence as well? First, we have to practice acceptance and pivot away from what psychologists call learned helplessness. Because let's be honest, fighting the existence of AI is a losing battle at this point. Instead, the best way to alleviate tech anxiety is to make the predator less mysterious. And the only way to do that is to learn the tools and experiment with them. If we stop viewing AI as a replacement and start viewing it as a shield to optimize our own leverage, it can become a real asset for us. So, in simple terms, tip number one, allow yourself to feel the emotions of AI taking over because those feelings are real, but also they need to be addressed. And the best way to comfort yourself is to make AI an ally, to strengthen your talents and still be in the game, essentially. And there are so many forms of AI nowadays that you can experiment with yourself. Most of you know it's not just ChatGPT anymore, it's Claude. Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. And those are just a few that make simple tasks much easier, like finding information super quickly or drafting a quick email. But depending on the field you're in, I definitely recommend Googling which platforms are the best asset for you specifically. Like, I know for developers, there are certain platforms that speed up the coding process outrageously, which is huge. But that makes that person much more valuable if you think about it. When they're utilizing that AI to produce more work 10 times faster, that's huge. Second, we have to recognize that there is so much value in our human identity. Because algorithms can process data, they can write lines of code and mimic human speech, but they can't experience consciousness. So, in a lot of ways, it can be hard for the system to relate or understand a lot of things because they're not human. And that's where we win as humans. They don't possess empathy, emotional intuition, or a human soul. The parts of you that make you a true individual, your relationships, your raw creativity, and your unique perspective cannot be digitized or replaced. The system wants you hyperventilating and paranoid because anxious workers are easier to micromanage. Remember that. The ultimate act of rebellion against tech paranoia is choosing to ground yourself in the present. Focus strictly on what you can control. I know that's easier said than done. And refuse to let an algorithm dictate your internal peace of mind. So, tip number two is hold on to what makes you truly you. Whatever your interests are, your personality, your experiences, this, along with the knowledge of how to use different AI systems, that's going to take you far. The future is changing fast, immensely fast. And the corporate world is moving in a direction they don't want you fully understanding. But remember, a machine can copy human output, but it can never replace human impact. Thank you for hanging out with me today. If this raw look at AI anxiety hit home for you, smash that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let me know how you're protecting your peace in this digital age. Stay grounded, be kind to others, and I will see you in the next episode here on Emo Coconut.